A federal judge in Seattle blocks the release of software that allows people to print guns, 3D print guns. Napolitano is here. Okay, here's my point of view. A gun is a lethal weapon, does serious damage. The federal government has an obligation to regulate that lethal weapon. What's wrong with stopping the printing of stuff by people who've totally unlicensed and unvetted?
Okay, so should we take books out of libraries that tell you how to make these because they're there? Should we take books out of libraries that tell you how to make bombs because they're there? And the libraries are owned by the government. The same government that is trying to prohibit these purchases books in its own libraries and lets anybody access them.
So to you, it's freedom of speech.
Yes, this is not a Second Amendment issue. It's a First Amendment issue. And it's a very serious one because it's not the punishment of speech already spoken. It's restraining speech before it's spoken. You can only find very, very, very few examples in American history where the courts have permitted what's called prior restraint. Thou shalt not talk. Not we're going to punish you for the consequences of what you say. We're going to prevent you from speaking.
Well, look, wait a minute. The manufacture of a gun, whether it's in a factory or your own desktop printer, is the manufacture of a gun.
Right, but
what's the freedom of speech about the manufacturing of a gun?
You can walk. First of all, it's the expression of thought, in this case, truthful thought, and the courts consider that speech. You can walk 3 blocks from here to the New York Public Library on 6th Avenue and 42nd Street and get a book that shows everything that the court won't let them put on the internet. Okay. What is the difference? Are they going to start banning or burning books next?
Oh, heaven forbid. Fahrenheit 451, that's what we all recall.
There you go.
So, do you have any problem with regulating 3D printing of guns? No?
I have a problem with the courts interfering with the freedom of speech. This is but look, this is technology. It's going to come out. Somebody discovered a way to do it. It's out there.
Every single one of our viewers knows that this is the manufacturing of a gun.
Yes.
Therefore, it should be subject to some regulation because a gun is a lethal weapon. Well, I'm all in favor of the Second Amendment. Don't get me wrong here. I'm not arguing against it.
The Supreme Court on the Second Amendment says you can have a gun in your home. So if this were to be manufactured and used in the home for self-defense, I think it's crazy to use this thing because I've seen videos where they explode in your hand because they weren't made properly.
Regulated on a safety issue. There you go. We got it. We got it.
Want to take the chance of blowing your own hand off? It's your chance.
I wish we had time to ask if the Space Force is constitutional, but we don't.
All right.
I've got my take and an editorial coming up. Stay right there, please. Very important stuff. Iran